What's up, guys? Welcome back to the MC podcast with MC. It's been a while. Yeah, it's been a while, but good to be back. I won't tell you guys why I've been gone, but it's good to be back. Let's just say I took a really, really long vacation, and my flight got delayed multiple times. And now that I officially arrived, I am now back on this. Let's just say that, I made promises that I did not keep, but hey, guess what? It's the fourth episode and we're back. So, this episode, we have a lot of things to discuss about. A lot of things to discuss about. You may notice, why am I here? The NFL season is going on. I've been very, very frequently just mentioning NFL on my social media, but I've not really got this chance to discuss it enough. The NBA season just started and more future stuff going on with this show. But yeah, with that out of the way, guys, let's get going on. We have a lot to discuss about, and I don't want to take your guys' day. Like the specific schedule says, it will still be every Sundays. I'll get to the certain time of it afterwards of this, but yeah, with that out of the way, let's get going on with this. So, the first thing I want to discuss is, what am I doing here? Why am I here? Let's just say that if you may not know, if anyone does not know, I recently just graduated from Fanshawe College. I'm wearing the hoodie, by the way, to represent my old school. But I recently graduated from Fanshawe College in June 2025. And my initial thing was to come back to London, go back for another year, take advanced filmmaking, try to enhance my skills a bit more, because I don't think I was prepared to be in the film industry just yet. So I needed to get a bit more experience. But I had discussions with my family. We've had a lot of discussions going on of what we want to do. And it also made my decision to come down here. If you may not know, I am in Vancouver right now. This is where I'm going to be staying at for the next year and so. And I'm going to school down here as well. And I feel like the thing about us being in Vancouver over staying back home in Toronto is that I feel like I will be able to really adapt to the film industry over here. Like, this area is pretty much Hollywood of Canada. And I feel like me that is super interested in what movies are produced, like how they're made in general. I feel like I can take my experience from what I did in Toronto and bring that over here. And that's exactly what my decision was at the end of the day. I didn't have to make this decision. I could have stayed back in London, but I feel like for my career, my future, I feel like the best decision I can make for myself is to come here and study film. And so far, it's been unbelievably great. I'm making a lot of new friends. I'm learning a lot of new things I can. Obviously, I do have a bit of experience. I've been doing film school or back home in Toronto. I've been doing school for about two years, just studying the film. And I know the basics of it. I know how a camera operates. I know how a film is planned. I know how, the beginning of it, like the pre-production part of film, the production part of film, and the post-production part. I know like the main roles, aka a producer, a director, a assistant director, a camera operator, editor, gaffer, grip. I know the sound production, but I need to know how like a family tree operates, how it's like just the basic showing of it. Like, you have film over here, and then let's just say it branches out to multiple parts of the film industry. I feel like for me coming here, those branches from the main aspects, like the main roles of a film production, can expand more. That's what I came here to learn about. Like, learn about a script writer, learning about a second AD, learning about a director, photographer, learning about the best boy, like all these certain roles that are part of a film industry. That's what I wanted to do coming here, just learn more about it, what I want to do in my certain life. And it's good to have the advantage. I think it's great that I have advantage of having experience going into this. Now, you don't need to, if you're going to come here, you don't need to have full experience. Like, you can be unexperienced. They're going to teach you as much as possible. But I think for me, it's like I already have an advantage of what the film industry is kind of like. Not full advantage of it, obviously, but I have an understanding of it, which is very helpful. But I'm also trying to stay as humbly as possibly I can, just with learning new things, taking input from other people. No, more people other than me that goes to school knows film as well. They probably know just as much or even more film than me. Or people that, hey, they never done film in their entire life. They may know how to content create or something like that. Know the basics of leadership. Learn the basics of being an individual that loves to edit things. I don't know. I don't know. But like that's what I can say that makes me very excited to be here. Um and how the school process is like, it's very, very intense. Like I could say this, it is very, very intense. Just from 1 week, it is very, very overwhelming at first. Like a lot is being thrown at you, a lot of review for me personally, but like just the whole thing about it being very, very intense, and it's okay because how it's structured is that it's like a 2-year program, diploma program, structured into 1 full year. So rather than having a ton of breaks like reading week or Christmas break, I mean, we still have Christmas break, obviously, but having weekends off, having a summer off, they don't care about it here. They don't care about that at all. They want you to work as much as possible. That's why they're saying, hey, you are going to school on the weekends. You're going to school on Saturday and Sunday. We don't care about that. We're not going to give you like breaks like that. You are going to be going to school in the summer to learn the film. And even though it's just for 1 year, it will be very, very hard, intense work in the film industry. Now, for this school, I think I already mentioned this for a few people, but it doesn't really feel like a school. Now, like for me personally, for when I come to the school every single day, leave here around 7 a.m. in the morning to get there for 9 o'clock, I feel like I'm going to work. I'm not lying to you guys. It feels like you're really going to work. Like you're in a computer lab, you are in a studio, you are in a film, you're in a theater. That's what I'm gonna say. You're in a theater. You're not in a classroom. I mean, maybe some people may think that otherwise, but I generally feel like you're going to work. That's what the feeling I get of it. You're given hour lunch breaks, like you're given 15-minute breaks. It literally feels like work. Take 5, yo. Take 15. Let's go on for lunch, something like that. It feels like that, and I kind of like that. I kind of like that. It's not feeling like you're sitting down, taking notes at school. Now, a lot of people do that. No. I feel like other students in my class, they take notes normally. They take piece of paper or a notebook and take notes basically. What I do is that I like to type it down on a computer. Like I go onto the Word document and I generally just take down notes like that. I think I've taken at least 5-page notes of this week, or probably a little bit more, and it's just week 1. It's just the introductory week. Now, I'm not saying this is probably going to be the thing the entire time, but that's ridiculous. And they've kept constantly saying that, hey, you don't have to take notes. They're going to be in the classroom. Like they're going to be on this website. That's where you can get access to the notes when we have to have tests, like open book test or just studying as a whole. But for me, what I do, the best way to learn is to listen. And how you listen is by taking notes. I feel like obviously you don't have to do that. But for me, it's like I feel like that's probably the most effective way of learning as quickly as possible is by taking notes on the slideshow and then just paying attention to what they're saying, what it means. And that's the best way to learn as much as possible. Now, I'm not saying that theory is going to be the best way to learn for me personally. I like the hands-on work. I love that, they experiment with you. We're going to have workshops, by the way. I think starting tomorrow, we have a workshop. This video is coming out a week after I initially recorded it. So there may be things that I may say that might be outdated, but like I'm enjoying my time. Okay, I'm enjoying my time. I feel like I'm making new friends. I feel like I'm I'm coming in with a kind of a different mindset than what I did my previous year. I feel like my first year back home in Toronto when I went to school, I kind of wanted to get a feel of everything. Like I was super quiet at first. I didn't really want to say that much things. Like I just wanted to get a feeling of how the structure of the work is like, how these people are like. I feel like I just need to get a feel out because I'm not typically just going to be this quiet person every single time I go to class. I think for this specific school, I had to make a presence from the beginning. I feel like that was kind of my approach mindset. I think I even said this to myself before I attended my first class, is that I need to make a statement here. I need to say why I'm here. Like, I need these people to know who I am and not just some quiet person that just doesn't say anything. I need to show off my personality a bit. If I may be the wackiest person in the world, but when I get serious, I do get serious. So coming into this is like I made a statement for myself. I kept asking questions and all those kind of things. I kept, just talking to others around me and all this stuff, introducing myself. And I feel like that's probably gone for the better because I feel like they know how I operate. I know how I operate. But like what I'm trying to say is that I feel like I'm trying to make a presence here. I feel like the main thing about coming here is to just network as much as possible because these guys can be future employees of myself or I can be a future employee of them. That's the best part about this film school is that alumni hire each other. And that's exactly what I want to do. Just make a presence well known. I feel like for these kind of schools, you want to be attending. You want to be attending as much as possible. They won't care at all if you get grades that well. Yeah, it's good to have good grades. Like you will learn more if you get good grades. However, if you're there every single time, you make a presence, you keep asking questions, all that kind of stuff. Just for tips out there who's trying to go to the school. I'm not saying I know every single thing right now, but what I'm trying to say is that like if you're gonna go to school like this, ask a lot of questions. They're there to help you. Interact with your classmates. They're going to be your coworkers or your friends or whatever you want to call them for an entire year. So you want to get to know them as quickly as possible. You don't want it to delay until you start getting the crew. For me, it's like they said that, hey, we're going to start crewing, we're going to start filming in term 2. And right now, we are just doing the pre-production work. So I feel like the best thing you can do is to hang out with these guys as much as possible. We had a little Halloween party a few days ago from when I filmed this. I think the person that hosted it was a genius. That was a genius move to do, to just get to know everybody as much as possible. And yeah, we're all adults, so we might drink, have alcohol, have some fun. But I feel like the best thing about that is to get to know people from a personal note. You don't just want to know them just from filming or something like that. That's not me. Like I feel like I need to get to know them, how their personality is like. And honestly, I can say from just being at that party, I feel like I've just got to know way more people than I thought because I didn't know how they were like at first. But when we got to that party, I got to know them even more. And, that party was fun, by the way. That party was very fun. I feel like I got to know more people at all. But, yeah, man, that was great. And this school has been awesome, by the way. Like, it's been truly awesome. There's a lot of haters up there, but, I get it. I'll make another video, I think, on my other channel, my main channel, just the MC channel. I will really discuss more about this school in the future when I get to that. I feel like I need to make a pre-season or just 1 week review of the school so far, or recap of the school. It's going to be very spoiler free. I'm not going to spoil anything because being part of a film industry, you don't really want to spoil the work you're doing. I feel like that's kind of illegal. I think it's pretty illegal actually to just spoil work that you're going to do. What you see from these celebrities out there that are part of a film industry, they don't just spoil like you're on set or something like that. They try to keep it as quiet as possible because I feel like that's part of a contract. That like it just ruins the thing. It just ruins it if you just spoil. Like you don't want them to spoil Avengers, like Avengers Infinity War and Endgame just like that before it's even released. You don't want that. Like I understand why these companies decided to say, hey, we're not going to spoil these things. And so what I'm trying to do is that like I will discuss about it, but I'll keep it as spoil free as possible. I don't want to discuss the ins and outs of literally everything we do throughout the day. I can just say it's very intense right now, and that's okay. That's okay. That's something I need to adapt to, and that's something that I know I'd get better with managing my time, managing my health wise, and just managing everything that's gonna go on with this school year. And that's what makes me very, very excited. Now, as you may know, I started school like probably a week ago, right? So I've been out of school since May, and it's been really weird. Like it's generally been one of the weirdest things ever. At first, it was really, really weird because like I have so much time off. Obviously, I was working as well. I think I mentioned this. I was working on another podcast, but like just it felt weird. I feel like for me, that was probably the best thing that can ever happen to me. I feel like that was my best summer in such a long time. I feel like I've gotten as healthy as possibly physically and mentally. I just feel great, man. I just feel like I was so eager to get back into the school feeling as soon as I got here. And man, I'm just super excited to be here. And yeah, just got really healthy physically, mentally. I got out of school. I didn't want to think about film for literally a bunch of months. Like I had no interest in thinking about film for a bunch of months. Like I just wanted to take that time off to think about other things going on in my life. And it was great. I think it was one of the best decisions I ever made in my entire life. And now it's like I usually start off a bit slow when the school year starts. I feel like when I did that when I was back in Fanshawe, I started off a bit slow multiple times. I feel like with here, it's like I feel like I'm really prepared for this. Like I feel like I'm ready to go. I'm ready to get back into the school feeling wise. I'm just ready for all the homework to pile up on you. I am ready. I'm like super prepared. And that's kind of the best feeling I can have. Maybe other people might not have that. Like some people that I went to the school, I'm going to school right now, they just got out of another program at the same school. So like I don't know how they're able to just transition to this program with just having the intense year that they had. Maybe, some people are more capable of doing it, adapting to it than others, but like that's still really insane. And that's very, very, very impressive for them to do. So yeah, man, film school is great, and I'm just excited to continue my career path. I don't know if I've announced this yet or just specified this before, but what I want to do in life is to be a producer or a director. Now, what's so funny about coming to these schools? I've had this same thing happen back to back years. Not back to back years, but back to back times I first started school, at least for film. So many people say they want to be a director. And that is, I don't know why. I understand why. They see the Oscars, they see the red carpets, they see them getting the awards and all that stuff. Their name is literally on a movie poster saying, hey, directed or produced by this person. And I don't think they know what a director is. I don't think people actually, like, the people that are around me, like, at least this time, I don't think they actually know what a director is, because they think the director is the guy that just yells the entire time at everybody out there. And that's just not the case. The directors work with the cast members. They're in charge of putting the cast together. They're the ones that communicate with the cast guys. Whereas the other role, which is the assistant director, they are in charge of, communicating with the crew guys. Making sure the set is quiet when they actually film. Like those guys take the leadership role even more than the director. And maybe I could be wrong. They could be all introverted. I could be completely wrong. They could all be introverted, even though being a director, I don't know if being an introvert is best for a director, but I don't think they actually know what it is. And that's okay. We have a bunch of months for them to finalize their decision. But me, I want to be either a director or a producer. Because the one thing I want to have in life when I get into film industry is have control or just a knowing of every aspect of the film. I feel like being an assistant director is a bit too much for me. I think it's very hectic. You have to manage everything. And I don't want to do that. I want to just manage my own cast members. I want to manage and direct the film that I want for it to happen. If they write it, I will have a vision in my mind and just say, hey, this is how I want the film to operate like. I will make my decisions like this, and then the assistant director behind me will tell the crew members behind me what I want in the film, how the light's positioned, like how the camera's positioned, like where do I want the sound to be there, like. And that's kind of why I want to be a director. For being a producer, I want to create my own films. I want to have my own company. I want to have input on literally everything. I feel like a producer, you have say on how do you want the film to be edited like. You have final say. And that's kind of what I want. I don't think in Fanshawe I really got that much opportunity to do what I actually wanted to do, which is a shame because, that's the one thing I was super excited with when I first signed up for that program back there. It was like, I want to be a director. I didn't know what a director was fully at that time, but now I know what it was. I still wanted to be one. And the first time I was a director, it was okay. I could have done better. I learned a lot from it, and I'm ready to adapt that into the newer times. Like there's a saying out there that's saying not everything is good, but not everything is bad. There's a saying out there, and I feel like I can't say like it was good, but there's things I can take away and say, hey, I need to learn from this. But also, I can't just say it was all terrible and just ignore all the pros that were involved with the flaws. I was able to organize these guys. I was able to create a group chat for these guys to get to know each other and just to have a plan how I want the film to be made. Just checking in with everybody. And that's things I can take away from being at Fanshawe and bring it over down here to Vancouver. And that's one of the best things you can have is just have that little bit of experience on your hand and able to transition that into being a director over here when I wanted to get to that career-wise. Also, it's like not just film. I also have out experience skills from working out there, having experience, volunteer experience. Heck, even doing YouTube. I know how to make presentations. I know how to present myself. I know how I want things to operate like. How I was leadership, how I would collaborate with others like that. I feel like that was the best things I can say when I, back home when I filled up my resume. That's what I'm trying to say. But also just my own personal goals that I want from it. And that's kind of the best feeling you can say, man. And that's why I can say it's a really big advantage just coming over here and just having the full experience. And yeah, it was awesome though. It was awesome. So yeah, that's pretty much all I wanted to say about the, just being over here, what's going on, all this kind of stuff. But the next thing I want to discuss about is, we have a lot of NFL things to discuss about. And we'll get to the Bills later. We will get to the Bills later. But this NFL season has been really weird. Like, it's been generally so weird because I don't think there's a single great dominant team this season. I don't think that at all. I don't think every one team is this perfectly dominant team. Last season, we had that with the Philadelphia Eagles. We had that with the Lions before their injuries. We had that. We had that with the Baltimore Ravens when they started figuring it out. And years past, like we had that with the Ravens before as well, with the 49ers, with the Eagles, with the Chiefs, with the Bills, with the Bengals out there. This season, I don't think there's a single great team. There are good teams, but not a single great team. The Philadelphia Eagles are the defending champs. So, yeah, they should have that edge of saying, hey, we're the best team in the league. I don't think they are the best team in the league right now. I think they're showcasing a lot of flaws. They're missing a lot of guys out there. Saquon Barkley is not having this type of season that he had last season. Jalen Hurts is overrated, and that team they regressed. That's the thing about being in a Super Bowl. You will have Super Bowl hangover, whether you are a winner or not. The Kansas City Chiefs are currently 5-4, recording this just after they lost to the Bills in Highmark Stadium. We'll get to the Bills later. But the Chiefs have been better in my opinion. I think they're a better team than they were last season for sure. I feel like Mahomes, this is the best version of Mahomes since 2022. Not as great as that season. I think that version of Mahomes is by far the best quarterback in the league. I think Mahomes is overrated. I think Mahomes, and it's not just me being a hater. I just think the notion of you being the best quarterback in the league I'm talking about current Mahomes, though, not Mahomes all-time wise. Just current Mahomes is overrated because you had the notion of being we're the best quarterback, and because we're the champs. You didn't win the championship last season. So why are we calling you the best quarterback in the league when you didn't even win last season? Yes, you got to the Super Bowl. Cool. Are we going to give out an award for you being in the Super Bowl? We don't care about that. We care about you winning. We didn't claim Brock Purdy as the best quarterback in the league when he lost, even though he outplayed Mahomes. We didn't say that Jalen Hurts in 2022 was the best quarterback in the league when he outplayed Mahomes in a Super Bowl but lost. 2024 or 2025, so the Super Bowl, Mahomes got there and he played terrible. Like, he played really bad. So why are we still continuing this notion saying, hey, he is the best quarterback in the league when he has clearly not been that guy? And I thought Mahomes this season, he is been really, really good. Turns out I feel like a lot of his throws are just him chucking the ball up halfway through the field. And he's been better in terms of not throwing too many turnover heavy thrown plays. But also it's like he's taking way more sacks. He's less efficient. He just played one of his worst games of his career against the Bills today. And he has just not been as good as I thought. The Chiefs as a team, though, I think they've been a little bit better. I think Kelsey has played better than he has the last 2 seasons. I think the addition with Rashee Rice being back is big for them. Having Worthy out there was, even though he played terrible at this game, but like him being there, healthy, really good as well. Their defense has kind of regressed. They're dealing with some injuries. Spags has kind of regressed. Andy Reid has kind of regressed. He's still probably the best coach in the league, but yeah, that team is a bit overrated. The Baltimore Ravens hit with injuries. Their defense was not that great, and Lamar Jackson has missed a bunch of games. Now that he's back, I feel like they can make a run to make the playoffs. It's going to be very, very tough to do that, but their schedule is favoring them outside of them playing the Pittsburgh Steelers twice and the Cincinnati Bengals because they're divisional rivals. But they play the Jets, they play the Browns, they play they play the Jets, they play the Browns. You're going to play Pittsburgh once, so I feel like you can win that game. Cincinnati can win one of those games. The Vikings, you should probably be able to win that. But then they play the Patriots, but we'll get to that later. The Bengals, very disappointing. Very, very disappointing. I thought they would bounce back. I didn't think they'll be as good as people would say, and people said Joe Burrow will be the MVP. I didn't really think that because I don't think they were going to win their division. You can't be an MVP when you lose your division. That's why I don't think Burrow should have been called the MVP coming this season. But yeah, that's not a good team. I mean, the Packers have been super inconsistent. The 49ers are dealing with so many injuries. The Rams have been all right. The Lions, they're not as dominant as they were last season in the regular season, but they're still pretty damn good. The Bills, we'll get to them actually. The Patriots, I said the Patriots were going to make the playoffs this season. Looks like I'm right. They are literally pushing the Bills to play literally the best football to get them to win the AFC East because right now they're ahead of the Bills because of the tiebreaker. They beat us early in the season in Buffalo, which was very, very tough. Now let's get to the Bills. The Bills, for me personally, have been very weird. They've been really, really weird this season. I don't know really how to explain it, but pleasantly a bit in terms of the receiving core, disappointing. Absolutely disappointing. Khalil Shakir is still really good. He's still really, really good. He's best utilized as a wide receiver 2 or 3, not a 1. Josh Palmer, when he's been playing, he started the season a bit slow, but he has picked it up and then he got injured because he gets separation. The one guy I really want to discuss about out of all the receivers is Keon Coleman. Keon Coleman, I don't think he's that guy. I know it's his second year. He could still make a leap, but I just don't think he's that guy. And they were saying so much hype about him to in the training camp with the season with him being wide receiver 1. But he's been very disappointing because outside of the Baltimore Ravens game, he has not gotten the separation I thought he could have. The ability to be that strong and that athletic, and you're not utilizing that, is very disappointing. It may be Joe Brady though, but like he just does not get separation like that. I see Kincaid, a tight end, get way more separation than him, and Kincaid has been very, very good this season. I was ruling him out from last season, but like last season was a sophomore slump. He was good in rookie season, and he's been very, very good, bordering all pro. Pro Bowl level this season. He's been that good this season. The tight ends have been very, very good this season. The running game, James Cook has been phenomenal this season. I was ruling him out just for him being a top 10 receiver when he was discussing the negotiations of getting the contract. He rightfully deserves that money. He has been a top 5 running back this season. I think he's been that great. I think he's leading the league in rushing yards. I don't know about touchdowns though, but he's leading the league in rushing yards. He has been that great. The running game has been really good, and it mainly has to do with the offensive line and James Cook. Those guys have just been really good. Josh Allen. Josh Allen, man. Favorite quarterback in the league. He's been weird this season. He had that Baltimore game where he was just by far the Superman version that we all know that Josh Allen to be. Like, he was literally Superman that game. Then he had the Jets game, which I'm not saying that it was a bad thing that he played terrible. If he could play terrible and we still blow out a team like that, I'm happy. Like, I don't care if he does not play well, as long as we win the game. He also had that nose injury. Then he had the Dolphins game, which was fine. Like, it wasn't the super exceptionally dominant game he had against the Baltimore Ravens. Like, he was just fine. Then he had the Saints and the Patriots games. I mean, I would say I would just group up the Saints, Patriots, and the Falcons game. That was not great. I think I even said that he was been playing really terrible those past few games. I don't think he's been that great those games. I as the biggest Josh Allen fan in the world, I don't think it was great those games. I think it was pretty bad. And then you had the Carolina Panthers game. And he was, again, like the Jets game, no passing touchdowns, but he had a couple of rushing touchdowns, though. So it's not like he did absolutely nothing out there. Like, the run game was so good that game, he didn't have to throw the ball. Then he had the Chiefs game. Statistically, he probably had his best game of the season, but I still don't even think that was his best game. I still think he was not as great as I thought he was, not the explosive game, even though this was a very impressive efficiency game from a guy like Josh Allen, who was a project quarterback coming into the league. Him having this arm talent of like literal monk, not a monk, like just this top tier arm talent. This guy that can just sling the ball across the field. For him to not process reads like that at the time, for him to have this efficient of a game against the Chiefs defense is very impressive. 86% percentage throughout the game on 26 attempts, 23 for 26. That is really impressive. No turnovers either. That's very impressive. And I don't know, man. There's a debate. I don't think he's been that good compared to last season, this season, but he can honestly still win the MVP. I think the stats kind of back it up. And what's discussed about him, man? I think the stats kind of back it up. That he could still be the MVP. And it's ridiculous. It is really insane that he still has a chance to win the MVP. You know, I don't even think he's been the MVP this year. Like, let's look at Josh Allen's numbers. Josh Allen this season, he has 1,800 yards and 1,833. He has 13 touchdowns, passing touchdowns, to 4 interceptions. He had a fumble, 4 fumbles, but he lost one of them. And then we get to the rushing numbers. He has 280 rushing yards and 7 touchdowns. So that equals to 20 total touchdowns and 4 interceptions and 1 fumble. Let's look at Drake May. He also has a 107 passing rating, which is, I think, the second best pass rate of his career behind the 2020 season. Like his MVP season, he had a slightly worse passing rating than this. I mean, he had 101 passing rating. He has 107 this season. Let's look at Drake May. Drake May, I think he's currently top 3 for MVP right now. Drake May has been that great this season. And I was right. I said he was really damn good going into next season. I was going to like him. He might be the best player in this draft class. I think Caleb Williams just is not that great. I think Bo Nix is fine. I think Jaden Daniels, he's good, but I think he's a little overrated. I think what we got from Jaden Daniels this season compared to last season, I think that's who he is. I think that's just how he is because he's a late blooming quarterback because he stayed in college for a bit later, just like Bo Nix. Where a guy like Drake May, who is really young, and the season that he's been having, like, I might say he's the best player in that draft class or the best quarterback in that draft class. Drake May has 17 passing touchdowns on 4 interceptions. However, he has 2,285 passing yards. Let me look at the rushing yard numbers. He has 270 yards in terms of rushing and 2 touchdowns. So that is 19 total touchdowns and 4 interceptions. He has more turnovers though. He has 2 lost fumbles, 6 fumbles in total. Now, what will give Drake May the edge for MVP for me is that he's been very efficient. I think he's been really damn efficient. 116 pass rating, which is ridiculous. That is insane. He has more total yards than Josh Allen. And he also beat Josh Allen and outplayed Josh Allen head-to-head. But I think that was a little bit more on how the Bills played than the Patriots, even though the Patriots were really good. I think that's how the Bills were playing. They were on a slump. But, yeah, man. Drake May really has a chance to win the MVP. My thing with Drake May is that I need to see this guy play a good team. Like, I have not seen the Patriots play a good team this season outside of the Bills. But Drake May had 0 passing touchdowns. But he still didn't turn over the ball. But the Patriots, they've played the Raiders. They lost to the Raiders week 1. They played the Dolphins in Miami. Impressive because it's really hot there. They lost to the Steelers. They blew out the Panthers. They beat the Bills by 3 points. They beat the Saints. They beat the Titans. They beat the Browns. And they beat the Falcons. I will give them the Bills game. That was very impressive. I will also give you the Dolphins game because it's a divisional rival. Impressive. I will give you the Falcons game, even though you almost choked that game. And you had a ton of turnovers that game. I think you had like 3 total turnovers that game. He has a chance to win MVP. I don't think he's going to win it. And I love Drake May. I just don't think he's going to win it. I think they're going to lose a few more games. I think that. I'm not trying to wish that. I hate the Patriots, but I don't want to wish that on a team that I just think they're going to lose games. But looking at their schedule, they play Tampa. I think Tampa beats them. The Jets, they beat the Jets. The Bengals is unpredictable, but I think they beat the Bengals. The Giants, they beat the Giants. They have a bye week in week 14. They play the Bills in week 15. I think the Bills beat them. I think the Bills get their revenge back on these guys. Then they play in Baltimore week 16. The Ravens team that's going to be wanting to get in the playoffs, that's tough. They play the Jets in New York. I think they win that. And then the Dolphins, I think they win that. So they have realistically 3 games they can lose. And they can still be in the playoffs. I just don't think he's going to win it. I think the Bills are still going to win the division. And why is that, you may say? The Bills, they started the season 4-0. Beat the Ravens. Josh Allen was ridiculous that game. The Jets game, The Dolphins game was fine, I guess. The Saints game, mid. Patriots game, mid. Not that great. Falcons game, ass. Panthers game was okay. Chiefs game was good. Not great, but good. But look at their schedule. At Miami, he plays well in heat. He plays well in really hot weather. I think they play well in Miami. Versus Tampa, that's a big game. They should win that. At Houston, I think they lose this game. I think the Houston Texans have the best defense in the league, and it's not close. If they had a really good offense, this team would win a Super Bowl. It's not even close. Then they play at Pittsburgh. He typically goes off against Pittsburgh. The Cincinnati Bengals, they suck this year. They can't defend. At New England, like I said before, I think they beat the Patriots. At the Browns are the Browns. I think they take care of business and beat the Browns. Versus Philly this late in the season, I think Philly, that's tough. That's a tough game. I think we do beat them. And then against the Jets, I think we're going to play our starters because the Patriots are just going to be on our tail. And looking at the Bills' schedule, they still have a chance to get the number 1 seed. Like, I thought it was over after the Falcons game, but, like, I think they still have a chance. I think this Chiefs win, the momentum from this game is going to carry over the next few games, like last season. I think that one game just against this freaking team, I think it carries momentum going to the next few games. And, you know, we can go on a run. The only game I could really see us losing for sure is at Houston. And I could be wrong about that. We could lose to Tampa. We can lose to the Patriots game. We can lose to the Eagles or the Bengals. But I think the one last game I could see this team losing is against the Houston Texans. Other than that, I think we should win every game. And I think Josh Allen will start to remember that he is Josh freaking Allen and will start to cook now. Last thing I want to discuss about this team is the defense. The defense we've had a really weird relationship going to the season. A lot of hype going on to the season. I was in Buffalo at Orchard Park in Highmark Stadium for the Baltimore Ravens game. One of the greatest games I've ever seen in my entire life in person. The defense was garbage for like 55 minutes of that game. They were trash. Word about that. Then they play the Jets. Now, mind you, at the time, the Jets were playing the Steelers and they kept it competitive. They dropped like 35 points on the Steelers. So, like, a bunch of people were worried that the Bills won't be able to stop that. But, like, people don't understand that Justin Fields is just not that good. And I wasn't worried at all. I feel it would put belts on these guys. And we exactly did that with Josh Allen playing terrible for defensively. Then the Miami game happened. And I had my questions. I kept saying fire McDermott. I was worried about that. Then the Saints game happened. Same thing happened. The run defense was terrible. They went off. It came down to a really last-minute Cole Bishop interception for us to win that game. Then the Patriots game happened. I think it's just more has to do with the Bills haven't played good to start the season off, and they were just being ignored because they were 4-0. But the Patriots, Drake may didn't have a passing touchdown, but I still think he outplayed Josh Allen that game. Falcons game. I thought the defense played fine that game. That was more to do with the offense. The Panthers game, very impressive. Although Andy Dalton sucks. But yeah. And then the Chiefs game. They showcased probably their best showing defensively, even though there were some collapses out there. I think Tre'Davious White should not be playing at all. He's washed. McDermott, Bobby Babbage, you need to hear that he is washed. He is washed. That means he's not as talented as he was back in his prime. You can be a Hall of Famer, but that doesn't mean you'll be a Hall of Famer for your entire career. Some guys aren't Hall of Famers like that. Still, I mean, they are, but they're just not that kind of a player because they get older in age or have injuries. That's exactly what's the thing with Tre'Davious White. So why is he playing more than our rookie who we just drafted in the first round in Maxwell Harrison, when Maxwell Harrison has kept up with the speed with Xavier freaking Worthy and even caught an interception from Mahomo? So why are we playing Tre'Davious White? Why are we playing him? He's washed. Put Benford on Rashee Rice and put Max on the other team's fastest receiver, which is Xavier Worthy for the Chiefs. And look what you did. Bosa forced Mahomes to throw it, just putting pressure on him, and Maxwell Harrison made a big play to pick off Mahomes. Doesn't make sense to me, man. It doesn't make sense to me that the coaching staff has their other inputs of what they see in best of this team when it's clearly not working. And they still continue to do that. McDermott and Bobby Babich need to look in the mirror again. I know we won this game, but we almost blew it with the start of the momentum from the Chiefs coming from a 4th and 17 completion. A 4th and 17 completion. Are you kidding me? I know it's Mahomes, but it's not peak Mahomes. He still has that arm talent, but he is not peak Mahomes. He does not make reads like he did back in his prime in 2018 or 2019 and 2022 or whatever the year was we won MVP. But yeah, his team is really pissing me off. But we're still 6-2. But we would easily be 7-1 or 8-0 if this team just fixed it up, man. Defensively and offensively. It's on coaching for the most part. And Bean. Because when are we going to get this team a wide receiver 1? Coleman's not that guy. Shakir is not a wide receiver 1. And Palmer's injured. Look at the guys on the bench. Shavers is a practice squad guy that got elevated. He's fine. I think he's decent, but he's not great. Curtis Samuel is just terrible. He's fine. Elijah Moore is fine, I guess. But we don't have a wide receiver 1. We have that with Diggs, but we know how that turned out with Diggs. Diggs is washed. And he just sucks. But he's, whatever. So why can't we trade for a wide receiver 1? I hope this team understands that, we're not going to go far if Josh Allen has to literally scramble for literally like 10 seconds for a guy to get open. When you look at the top tier guys' teams, like the Bengals or the Ravens or even the Vikings, those receivers get separation so easily. You know what pisses me off is seeing Lamar Jackson fans say that Lamar would do the exact same thing. I mean, Lamar is very impactful, but Lamar Jackson, his receivers get so much separation compared to the Bills. The Baltimore Ravens schemes, they give their players separation. The Bills don't have that. Josh Allen has to literally scramble around for the defense to focus on him so a receiver can get wide open on the Bills for him to pass it. I remember watching this during the Ravens game live that he had to scramble to get a guy open. Then I'm just saying, if we had better receivers, that would happen. But Bean is his ego is getting the best of him. His ego is getting the complete best of him because this is not going to work. It's not going to work. Even though we beat the Chiefs, it's not going to work. The one thing we can rely on really is our run game and Josh Allen being Josh Allen. But that's not the most consistent way of winning. The run game, for sure. But if they shut down the run, who's going to get open on this team in the past game? Who's getting open? Absolutely nobody. That's the issue with this team. Kincaid is the only guy that can get open, but Kincaid is injury prone. But yeah, man. NFL is insane, dude. Did I ever mention to you guys that I am currently first in my fantasy league? I'm 7-0. Supposed to be 8-0. First. Because I'm like that. I know I'm a GM. I know how to draft. I got Jonathan Taylor, Jamar Chase, and Josh Allen on my team. With the Broncos defense. And Jameson Williams. And A.J. Brown. By the way, trade A.J. Brown to the Buffalo Bills. Anyways, last thing I want to discuss, just two more things I want to discuss about is the NBA season. I have not paid attention to the NBA that much, but I have a new favorite player in the league. He starts with a V, and his last name starts with a W. I think y'all know who I'm talking about. He is so fun to watch. Like, oh my goodness, dude. This is something that we've never seen before. And I saw the talent. I saw the first day. He was going to dominate this league once he figures it out. He had his worst game today, but he's fine. It's over. It's completely over. Save us. Save us, somebody. We're cooked. Like, who, like, what are you supposed to do? A guy that can literally get to the paint like Giannis, dominate the paint like Giannis, but shoot like Kevin Durant out there, and defend shots like Hakeem Olajuwon. Wemby's gonna go down as the greatest defender of all time. It's not close. It's over. He wrapped up Defensive Player of the Year this year. He already has a game with 9 blocks. He had a bad game today, but he still had 4 blocks. It's over. It's over, man. Wembenyama's gonna dominate this league. It's over. It is so over. And I'm all for it. Wemby he's my favorite player in the league. Like, he is by far my favorite player in the league. Luka Doncic, man. Nico Harrison, you look like an idiot, dude. Like I said before, I made a video about this. You don't trade your franchise superstar level player who got you to the NBA Finals in the middle of the season. I don't care if he is not in ideal shape. I don't care that he has a drinking problem. I don't care about that. He got you to the finals. You jabroni, and then you trade him. That's not very smart. That's not very smart at all. He's 26 years old, 27. And not that you just trade him. You trade him to the Lakers. Why would you? What goes on your? I know you were with Kobe Bryant and Rob Pelinka and all that stuff, but I don't care. That's a conference rival. That's stupid. That is the stupidest thing I can think of my entire life, is that you trade your franchise player because he's just not the defender that you want him to be, and he's not in shape. Look at him. All these fans have bullied him in the offseason that he got into full-fledged shape, and people call him skinny Luka Doncic. And look what he's doing. And look what Anthony Davis has been doing this season. Anthony Davis has been good, but he's not been literally the leading scorer in the NBA or the front runner for MVP right now. He hasn't been that. Like, Luka is doing this without LeBron. Like, look at this, dude. Like, what were you smoking? Cooper Flag is fine. He'll be fine. But that's not Luka. Luka has some much higher ceiling than Cooper Flag. Dummy. You jabroni. Why would you do that? You jabroni. Why would you do that? That's not smart. Now look at you, dude. Now look at it. Your future's cooked. You traded him in his prime, not even in his prime yet, to the Lakers, your conference rival. That's on you, brother. I still can't believe the Lakers actually got him. That's ridiculous. But yeah, that's just the notion of the NBA. It's just anything can happen, and that's exactly what it happened. Luka's on a goddamn Lakers. But good job, Nico. You just are just the biggest dummy in the league. The Miami Heat. Yeah, we lost the last 2 games, but this team has looked promising this season. They're playing with a much higher pace than they've played in previous years. I've liked a lot of players in the league on the team. Kel Ware, Davion Mitchell. I can't remember the point guard's name, but he's the white guy. I can't remember his exact name. But this team, Jaime Jaquez Jr. as well, has bounced back from his rough sophomore year. Tyler Hero's not played this season yet. Norman Powell was a big addition. I'm so glad we have him, but he's been out. Bam Adebayo is shooting like 6 threes a game and he's making 4 of them. This team is fun to watch again. That makes me love basketball, seeing my team fun to watch. Because last season was really rough. Like, I'm glad the Heat are fun to watch. Jaylen Brown is not that guy. I don't care that he won a Finals MVP. Jason Tatum is that team's offense. Jason Tatum is their best player. He should have been Finals MVP over Jaylen Brown, Mr. No Left Hand. You're not a number 1 option scorer, dude. You can't play make like Tatum. Tatum can use his left hand. You jabroni. The 76ers. They have a nice backcourt future. Embiid, I don't like him, but like he's fine this season. Paul George, he's missed games, but he's washed. They've been promising though. The OKC Thunder. It would not surprise me at all if this team won 73 games. That would not surprise me at all. I'm telling you guys, this is a dynasty in the making. These guys are going to win multiple championships in the next few years. If you keep that core together and you have the right complementary role players around them. I was dismissing Chet after the NBA Finals as an offensive scorer. Turns out I was stupid because I ignored the fact that he got out of rhythm because he missed so much time. He's that talented. Now he's not Victor Wembanyama talented, but he is that talented. That's how good he is. The Houston Rockets. Kevin Durant is overrated, but I like how he's utilized on this team. I like how he's not super mid-range heavy. He's taking more three-pointers. He's getting to the rim more. Alfred Şengün, the fact that he's taking another leap on the three-point end is super impressive. The Rockets, although are not the by far second best team in the West, as people say. I think it's OKC and then Denver. And then maybe Houston. But also, don't sleep on Minnesota. I know Ant has been out, but don't sleep on Minnesota. Just don't. They got to the conference finals for a reason. And they are a bad matchup for a lot of teams when they are fully healthy. I'm just saying, except for OKC. That is a bad matchup for Denver. That is a bad matchup for the Clippers. That is a bad matchup for the Warriors. I think the Lakers is weird. But yeah. Yeah, man. And the last thing I want to discuss on this podcast is just the future of it. Because obviously, I just got back into it. But we're still going to have Sunday releases. I might not be in here all the time. I might be at somewhere else recording this. But that's still the future goal of it. Now, for time-wise, I think I had at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time back at home. It's going to be a little bit different now. The thing is, since I'm in the West Coast, I'm going to have to move that to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is 6 p.m. over here. So that everybody from the West can at least be able to watch this not super late. I don't want it to be coming out late at like 10 p.m. where no one's going to watch that. But also, I don't want it to be super early for the West Coast. So that's why I'm saying I'm adapted to the West Coast time. Like, it is currently like 1 a.m. there right now. And I'm filming this and it's like 10 o'clock here. So it's like I'm going to do 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, which is 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's the timing for now on for release times. But yeah, guys, expect the same certain uploads for this podcast. And thank you guys so much for watching. And good night, y'all.